I don't even know if anyone is here right now because, oh, it says 6 people are here. Okay, there you go. How is everyone today? I'm assuming that you can hear me. Just let me know if you can hear me. I'm talking. I'm assuming you can hear me talk. And it says, okay, somebody gave it a thumbs up. So I'm assuming that people are actively here. I don't see anything. Let me see if it's, okay, now the chat has shown up. All right, so, okay, so you guys can hear me. I'm going to put, okay, I think I had it turned on to top chat, not live chat. Let's talk about Etsy SEO because there are so many people posting weird stuff that, whenever I see a post in the Facebook groups that starts with, I saw this in another group, or, basically I saw this in another group, or somebody, I think it was in my, I want to say it was in the eShop group. It might've been in the public group. There's somebody said they actually kind of got into an argument with someone who is selling SEO classes, right? That's the problem. I will just say right up front, I'm not selling an Etsy SEO class anymore. I do have keyword lists, okay? But if you don't understand how SEO works in general, my lists are going to be real confusing for you. But they come with instructions, but people don't read the instructions. We know people don't read the descriptions. That's basically it. But you need to understand that people search in different ways, and Etsy isn't always going to use exact word order match. And Etsy has 3 or 4 different search engines now that all work together. It's very confusing if you just think that you type something in and that's what's going to show up, because that's not how it works anymore. And we can talk about this. But I've started seeing a lot of questions, and then gift mode on top of that. Gift mode is a separate search engine. It's just a whole different thing. So does anyone have any specific questions that they would like to ask first? I do want to try to keep this. I want to keep it to half an hour. It's probably going to go longer, but if you guys have specific questions about Etsy SEO specifically, go ahead and post them. Put question in all caps at the front so that I can see it as the chat moves. But I'll start by just pointing out that Etsy does not require word order match anymore, and they haven't for years. It's been years. They've never required word order match, exact word order match. That was way back when there was a relevance algorithm. Okay, so we're dealing with different, an algorithm is just a computer program that says, if this happens, then this happens. That's all. It's not anything magical. It's not that confusing. It's just a program, that's all. And the thing is that people think that when you type something into the search bar, that's what Etsy's looking at, and that's what Etsy's going to match. And it doesn't. It's never worked like that. When you do type in something, let's say that I go to Etsy and search for beaded bracelet. That is very general. That could be anything, right? And there's going to be a lot of results that come up. And most of them are probably going to have the phrase beaded bracelet in it because it's really common. That's a really super common phrase. So a lot of people will use that as proof that Etsy likes the word order match. But that's only because it's a real common phrase. A lot of listings use it. And so Etsy has a lot of listings to show for that. Okay. When you get a phrase that's a little bit more long tail, which just means it's a longer phrase, it has more words in it, it's more specific. There's not going to be as many listings that match that. And so Etsy doesn't have as many listings to show. So they kind of start hopping around inside the title and the tags to find the words that are in whatever the person typed in the search bar. So if I go in and say beaded bracelet with onyx stones, that's not going to bring back nearly as many results as just beaded bracelets would. And probably not as many listings are going to have beaded bracelets with onyx stones in that exact word order anywhere in the title or tags. It's just not going to show up. But the words onyx, stones, beaded bracelets are going to be somewhere in that listing, and Etsy will pull that up. So they don't require exact word order match. You will be found if you have the words in your listing, and sometimes even if you don't have the words, okay, because Etsy started this contextual search kind of thing, which It's looking at the pictures. It's looking at the title. It's looking at the tags. It's trying to find things that are similar enough that the person who is searching will be happy with the results. We know that they don't do a very good job of this because a lot of times you'll search for something and something completely irrelevant comes up. And that's just because they're not using exact word order match. I think that kind of proves it, actually. Because if Etsy was only using exact word order match, then you would never get anything irrelevant in the search results. And we know that that doesn't happen. Okay. So there's that part of it that you need to understand. Okay. However, on the other hand, there's a flip side to this. If you do have the exact word order match, you probably will be given a couple little extra marks for relevance because the search engine does look to see if that exact phrase is in the listing. And if it is, then it probably assumes that, yeah, that listing is more relevant. So we might place it a little higher in search results. So you do want to get good keywords. You do want to do your keyword research. You do want to get good word order match and put that in there, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get shown in search. Okay. Because the second part of this is, like I said, I don't even know how long, like 5 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was way before the pandemic. Etsy started using a contextual search that really was looking at what the person who is searching was doing on Etsy, not just what they're searching for. And at the time, they said, we want to show people things that they didn't even know they wanted. Well, I think that's terrible for searches because if I go somewhere, I want to see what I'm searching for, right? But Etsy's theory is that if they show people things that are kind of related to what they're searching for, then they'll buy more stuff, which could be true. I don't have the numbers. I think it probably does work to a certain extent, but you have to pull that back. I think they've gone too far in that direction. So they are showing a lot of irrelevant results. People get frustrated and they probably leave Etsy and don't buy there. They just go to Amazon and buy there because when you search there, you get what you search for. So there's that part of it. Okay, so we've got the exact word order match thing. Keep it in mind. You do want a good keyword phrase in your title and your tags. You don't have to repeat your entire title and your tags. See, this is the thing. There's no one formula. There's no magic formula. And that's what a lot of these people are saying. You have to do it this way. And that's complete crap. That's ridiculous. Okay. You don't have to do it one specific way. If the words are in the title and the tags and your photos are clear and people can see what you're selling, then you're going to be found. But it depends where they're searching on Etsy now. So are they searching in gift mode? Because that's a totally separate algorithm. That's a different computer program. So we've got the word order match relevance. So we'll call that the relevant search engine. So when you type something in, that search engine brings back relevant matches to what you typed in. Okay. Then we've got contextual search, and that was the XWalk algorithm. And then there's something else that they layered on top of that. And that's kind of a relationship thing. So if I look at one thing and I favorite it, I give some indication to Etsy that I like that listing for that search term. And I also like something else. And then somebody else comes along and likes that other thing that I also liked. Etsy might show them the first thing that I liked because they're making a connection between the liking of the one thing, the liking of the second thing. And then this other person comes in and likes the second thing. And Etsy's like, well, they might like the first thing also because this person liked both of them. So there's that. It's a mess. Okay. But that's not really search based. That's more just kind of action based. That's an engagement thing. So we've got a search based algorithm working. We've got an engagement-based algorithm working. And now we've got the gift mode, which is separate. It doesn't affect the first two. It's a separate algorithm. It's a separate program. And it is what I would refer to as a browse algorithm, right? It's a discovery. Like Pinterest refers to themselves as search and discovery. Search is when you go to Pinterest and type something in and it shows you stuff. Discovery is when you just go to your home feed and Pinterest shows you things based on what you've looked at in the past, based on things you've typed, you've favorited, you've saved, whatever. So I think of the gift mode more as a discovery engine. It is guided a little bit. It's like guided discovery because you're telling Etsy what to look for when you're tapping the little buttons, but you're not typing anything in. So that's a separate thing. And depending on how people are searching, you have no control. You don't have any control over the gift mode algorithm. Because part of that is Etsy choosing what to show, and they're probably going to show things that are bestsellers, or just as my guess, I don't know. They're going to probably change the criteria for that. Like maybe at the holidays, they might show things that ship fast. It's the kind of thing where they can mess around with that, but it's not really search based, although it still does rely on keywords because Etsy needs the keywords that we put in to figure out what the listing is. And one of the things that the person who said that they got into an argument with this woman who is selling SEO classes, I think that the woman was saying, I don't know who it is, so I'll just say that right up front. I don't know who this person is, but she was saying that, I can't remember, but it was an argument where you have to do it this way because SEO is blah blah blah, and then there was I don't even know. I wasn't there for the argument, so I'm not sure the specifics. But the idea was that you don't even need to use keywords because Etsy just shows people stuff. And my response to that was, yeah, you do need to use keywords because that's the first line of defense. Basically, when you list something, you need to tell Etsy what your listing is, or else they don't know where to even start with it. So think about listing something that has no title and no tags. They only use like the first 150 characters of a description, and that's only for categorization purposes. It's not really for search. No attributes. So you haven't given Etsy any keyword information at all about this listing. They wouldn't know what to do with it. So you do have to have keywords. You do have to do SEO research. You do have to have good word order match phrases, but none of that is going to guarantee anything. So I think people think that if you get one good keyword, that's going to shoot you to the top of search results. And that's not how it works, because that's the first line of defense. That's where you give Etsy the information about your listing so that it can figure it out. And then it starts to see how people interact with it. So first we've got the relevant search algorithm in play, and then they see how people engage with it. So the relevance, the engagement, they work together. And then over here is discovery, and that's on its own. Okay, that's gift mode. That's all by itself. But relevance and engagement influence what's shown over in discovery, because that is probably things that get favorited more, that have bestseller badges, that have fast shipping, whatever the criteria is that Etsy's using this week. That's what's going to be showing in gift mode. But you still have to do keyword research. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about any of that? You have to think of this as kind of three separate things working together, although gift mode doesn't really work with the other two. It's kind of it's sitting over there on its own. The problem is that if you don't have things that are used often as gifts, then it's not something that gift mode is going to even be including. So we're probably going to be seeing drops if you don't have things that have gifts, that are gifts. Like, I don't sell things that are gifts. I sell cake decorations, okay? Nobody gives these as gifts. Well, usually, sometimes they do. It's very infrequent. But this is probably not going to show up as a gift because it's just not. It's not something that people give as a gift. So we might see drops in our traffic if people use gift mode a lot. If they don't and they just keep searching normally, then it shouldn't really matter that much. But it's just, where is the traffic going? Etsy's dividing traffic up now, so that some people are going to be using gift mode, some people are going to be using regular search. And you can go from gift mode to regular search, but then there's different things that they've layered on top of that. Etsy is a hot mess with the search. However, I mentioned this in my live maybe last week, that I had a conversation with, I'm not going to say who it was. I had a conversation about Etsy from someone who knows, and they said that this investor that is coming in, the investment group that has just got a seat on the board, they know, and Etsy knows. They said that Etsy knows this, the investor group knows this, customers know this, that Etsy search sucks. They know that, and they're trying to fix it. So we can only hope, keep your fingers crossed. And my comment to that, we talked about it for a while. I said they need to go back to showing people what they search for. Don't try to be smarter than the person who's typing. Just show them what they search for, because that's what people want when they come to Etsy or any search engine, any place to shop. I type something in, I want to see that. I don't want to see 50 things that they think I want to see. I want to see what I searched for. Okay, so that was my comment. I don't see any questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them. That's my little explanation, But I sell, like I said, I sell keyword lists for specific keywords. All right, it's all specific keywords. And a lot of people don't understand when they get this keyword list. They're like, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to put these exact word order matches? And I'm like, no, read the instructions, number one. But there's many ways to phrase things, and Etsy doesn't require the exact word order match. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I see a question. Does Etsy need, boy, this is even harder to read than the normal lives because it's on a black background. Does Etsy read our titles as a full sentence, or do they just pick out words? They just pick out words. And most search engines are like this. They pick out words. It doesn't matter if it's at the front or the back. I just did a video about something on this channel, and I was showing that the search that I came up with had the words at the very back of it, of the title, and it came right up. It doesn't matter if the words are in the front or in the back. Etsy will find them. If they're in the title, then you're good. If they're in the tags, you're good. They don't have to be in both places. It's not required anymore. Search engines are smarter than they used to be. It's not the same as it was 8 years ago. So don't worry about that. But I've heard a lot of people say after the first period, the search engine stops looking at the title. I was like, what the hell does that mean? That is stupid. That's just dumb. If anybody says anything stupid like that, just don't even listen to them because they don't know what they're talking about. And you can test this for yourself. Go put some weird phrase at the end of a title and then search for it. And it might take 10 or 15 minutes. All right. But it should come up. It should come up if you have, like, I think I put in random nonsense was the word that I put in at the end of a silicone mold. And I went in and searched for random nonsense silicone mold, and it came up in the search results. But guess what? It wasn't even the first result. I think it was on the top line, but it was the fourth item. So I don't think there's many other silicone molds that have random nonsense in the title. And so if you're looking at a relevant search match, that should have been the first one. But since that's not how Etsy works, it did bring it up. But that silicone mold hadn't sold. And a lot of times sales are what makes your listing show up higher in search. So the things that were selling more came up before that, but they did have my listing in there, even though that phrase random nonsense was at the very end of the title. And I did a video about that. It's on this channel, I believe, and it was relatively recent. So you can go look for that. I don't know what it was. But Etsy hops around. They'll pick out words from the title. They'll skip down to the tags. If someone types in something that has a partial phrase that is here and there and something in the attributes, it'll find it. But then, like I said, they layer other things on top of that. So it's not a guarantee that you will be at the top of the search results if you have all the words in there, or even if they're in the same order. But if you have all the words in your listing, you're going to be included in the pool of listings that they rank. So you have a better chance. All right. Anything else? I could just wrap this up right now. I mean, I've done videos about tinfoil hat myths, but anytime anybody in the Facebook group says, I heard this in another group, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be good. There's just so much that you don't need to do short titles. I'm trying to think of things that people say. You don't need to do short titles. Fill it up. Okay. Write it like it's readable. Don't just stack keywords on top of each other. That's Etsy from 2015. Okay. That's 10 years ago, where you could just do keyword, 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 and that was rewarded. But no, just write it like a normal sentence so that people can read it. And you can put keywords in a normal sentence because Etsy reads the whole thing. It's not looking at the sentence as a unit. It's going in and picking out individual words. Okay. Okay, please put question at the front of your questions, but I do see that there's a question here that says, are there any tips to boost your shop during slow months? You could run ads, send your own traffic, run ads. Etsy is not a platform anymore that you can just be guaranteed that you're going to get traffic just from listing something. So you do have to send your own traffic. You have to run ads sometimes if you need to. Watch the ad spend very carefully. I only run ads. I've been running ads on Etsy to test something out. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I have like a lot of free listings because I've been sharing that get your 40 free listings code. So I have a lot of free listings to kind of pay for that. But the cost of Etsy ads are pretty high. And I would not recommend that you do that unless you're actually watching your ad spend to make sure that you're still making money. Because a lot of people spend a lot of money on ads and they don't make a profit because the cost of the ads eats up all the money that they've made. And that's one thing if you're selling something digital or you're selling something that you're reselling on a different platform, like you're on eBay and you're doing that. But if you're on Etsy and you're actually making your products, that's not a good business model, because you're spending the time to make it. It costs you to make it with materials, and then you're not making any money on the other end because the ads ate up all of your profits. So you need to make sure that you're profitable if you do run ads. But it's just the norm. Etsy is like a normal website now. You have to send your own traffic through social media. You have to get an email list going and send people there. You are not guaranteed traffic on Etsy. And if you do get it, that's great. But if you don't, that's normal. Okay. It's just not, it's not what it was 10 years ago. It's just not. Okay. Question. Do we put our shop names in our tags? No. People are searching for my shop name according to the search analytics. Etsy seems to like erasing individual shops' identity. Etsy has always done that. You don't need to put your shop name in the tags. I think for a while they were experimenting with it. You can if you want to, but honestly, they will bring up your listings if people search for your shop name. And they search for my shop name all the time. My listings come up at the top. I don't think I have my shop name in the tags. And they also do show, I mean, I never lost the ability to see, did you mean the shop? And then they say the name of your shop. So it's up to you. I wouldn't waste the space. It's not something that is necessarily a benefit, but it's up to you. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you to do that. So if it makes you feel better to do that, go right ahead, but you don't need to. Okay. All right. Question. So what you're saying is I can put in a bunch of single word keywords in my title and it'll still get found even though the order of those words doesn't make sense. Yes, I've been saying that for 8 years because that's how it works. And you can, like I said, test this yourself. Go to Etsy, do a search for random, like a long string of random words, okay? Maybe 6 or 7. Search for something that is 6 or 7 words long, a phrase that's 6 or 7 words long. And then go to see what Etsy shows you and go to those listings and see where the words are. And they'll be in there somewhere in the title or the tags, but they're not going to be in the same order. And you want to write like a sentence so that the customer sees it and reads it without going, what did I just read? That was very confusing. You want to write it like a sentence for the customer. But the search engine sees the words wherever they are, title or tags, doesn't matter, and it will bring your listing up. Like I said, though, if you get the exact word order match, that might give it a little bit more relevance, although there are so many other things they pile on top of it, it's not required anymore. It's just not. So yes, that's what I'm saying, and I've been saying that for 8 years, and there we go. Okay, question. Does a higher ad budget help to increase sales? Not necessarily. What does a higher ad budget actually do? A higher ad budget actually gives Etsy more money. That's what it does. That's what it does. Okay. It might get you more views. It might get you more clicks. It doesn't guarantee you more sales. Nothing guarantees you sales. You need to connect with your audience somewhere and send them to Etsy. If you're running hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of ads every day, you're going to have a lot more visibility, and that does give you more opportunity to be seen. So you might get more sales. Okay. But I have heard from people recently who are saying, our Etsy ad budget is $500 a day, and we're not making as many sales as we used to. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Number one, are you making any money? They might be. I don't know what they're making. But there are a lot of people out there telling you all you need to do is set up a shop and run lots and lots of ads. It's not necessary. That doesn't guarantee anything. It just guarantees that Etsy's going to get a bigger ad payment, and they can say that in their quarterly investor reports. We got paid all this money for ads. That's all it guarantees. But if you're running a huge ad budget and you're selling something that people don't want, you're not going to sell it. It doesn't guarantee. I want to say a dirty word, but I'm not going to on YouTube. So it doesn't guarantee you anything. Okay. All right. My shop is on vacation mode, but in and out of town. Question: does Etsy show it while it's on vacation mode? Etsy will show your shop, but it says this shop is on vacation, or this shop is taking a temporary break, and then it'll have whatever message you put in. So if you put in a message for vacation that says I'll be back on this date or whatever, that shows up. but it won't show your listings, I don't think. I'm not sure if it shows the listings or not, but people can't check out. But your shop will still be there, but there's no activity going on in it. And they put that at the top of the homepage that you're on temporary break. Okay, question. If I sell hand knit newborn / baby hats, but also knit pants, booties, will the baby clothes keywords list be good for me? Probably, yeah. Look, when I do the keyword, see, this is the thing about the keyword lists. I will do baby clothes, okay? And the keyword list might have stuff for, like you said, hats or pants or whatever, but it's just specifically for that keyword, baby clothes. Okay, so there might be some leakage in there, like there might be baby hat, baby clothes hat, or something like that. But the keyword list is specifically for that keyword, baby clothes, and all the variations that go with that. Because if I did a keyword list for all the different types of baby clothes or whatever it is, then it would just be 90,000 pages long. So that's impossible. So you can usually find enough you can definitely find enough keywords. I try to get at least like, I go for like 1,000 keywords on these lists, but a lot of them are repetitive, and that's part of the learning process of knowing what your customers are searching for. So you might see on a keyword list, it'll say baby clothes for newborn, newborn baby clothes, baby newborn clothes. And it's all because the keyword tools that I'm using to make these lists look at each individual phrase as an exact word order match. So they're looking at those as different keywords, and they are different keywords because they're being typed in differently. It means the same thing. Okay, so what you can take away from that is that if there's only one baby clothes newborn match, then a lot of people probably aren't using the phrase baby clothes to look for stuff for newborns. But if you get 50 variations on baby newborn clothes, then a lot of people are looking for that, and it's an in-demand product. So these keyword lists are not there to give you words to just slap in your listings and walk away. You actually have to use your brain. And I'm sorry if that I'm not saying for you with the baby clothes. I'm just saying because there are people who are like, I don't know how to use this list. And I was like, okay, read the instructions. But it's definitely more of figuring out how your customers are searching and what the demand for things are. So if I, like, for example, if I go in and I'm looking for, these are edible butterflies. Okay, so if I'm looking for the keywords for edible butterflies, and everything that's coming up is blue edible butterflies, edible blue butterflies, edible butterflies blue, light blue edible butterflies, and I don't see any red or green in there at all, then I know that I'd better make some blue edible butterflies because that's what people are looking for. So it's a keyword list, but it's also educational. I'm sorry. I do expect people to think. I know it's hard. But yes, I would say that the baby clothes list would be good for any type of baby clothes. But if I did one for baby hats, that's going to have different keywords on it because that's a little more specific. It's probably going to be shorter too, because there's not going to be as many people searching for baby hats as for baby clothes. It's a larger subject, if that makes sense. Okay. How long do you recommend the alt text to be? A few keywords, a sentence describing the item. Alt text, you don't even need to do alt text on Etsy because it will use the title of the item to show what's to use for the alt text. But if you're going to use alt text in a photo, then do it the right way. Do it for the right thing. Don't worry about keywords because if you describe what's in the picture, which is the point of alt text, is for people who are visually impaired, they're using screen readers, or if the picture doesn't load up and it can tell you what the picture should have been, then you need to say what the picture was. You're not trying to jam that full of keywords because Google uses it. Okay. And I have a friend, my best friend's husband is blind, and he gets really pissed off when he comes across these photos that just have like a paragraph full of junk that people have jammed in there because they're trying to game the Google system. Don't do that. The purpose of alt text is just to say what the picture is. So it should be as short as possible to say what's in the picture. That's all. And if you don't put the alt text in on Etsy, it'll use the title of the listing. So I don't even do alt text on Etsy. There's a long discussion about alt text for products, because if you don't have an image that adds anything to the other information on the page, then you don't really need to use alt text. But in that case, you should put in 2 quotation marks to tell the screen reader to skip it and just to go straight to the title. So yeah, alt text, use it the right way, and that's the best practice. That's all. Okay, let me see. I'm looking for things that have question at the front. Okay. Question. Recently, I have been getting likes on items I deactivated. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because this is something that's been going on Etsy for a while. Okay. Recently, I've been getting likes on items I deactivated over 6 months ago. I've searched and can't find the listings. Are they still getting shown, or are they visible somewhere? Listings can be liked. Actually, you can get, if somebody has favorited it or put it in their favorites in the past, it'll be in someone's favorites. It might be showing up from, maybe Etsy pinned it on Pinterest and somebody's coming to the listing from there. But I think if it's not there anymore, then it should just say this listing isn't available. There are a lot of different places on Etsy where people can find images of your listings, even though the listing is not available anymore. I know I have an Etsy collections group, and someone was just asking, should we delete things that aren't like are one of a kind? And I know that when I go to my favorites on Etsy, sometimes it'll say, this listing isn't available, take it out. And I just leave it, because why not? But if somebody is in there and they favorite that, then that could be where you're getting it. On reviews, there's pictures on reviews. If people are going through your reviews, they could favorite it there, even though it's not in your shop anymore. So yeah, it's probably, I've got the hiccups. It's probably that people are just finding it in other places. So that's not such a big deal. Okay. Let me see. Question. Okay. I got several favorite clicks while on vacation. Why, and is it helpful? Yeah, it's the same thing. It doesn't hurt you. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's helpful because people are favoriting, they're favoriting your listings. But anyway, it's not just that your shop is open. It's just that people can find your listings other places. Okay, question. Do you have any videos on how to properly write and optimize Pinterest pins? I have a whole class on Pinterest. I don't know. I think I did a video about Pinterest in this channel. And I might have done one on my other channel. I'm going to start moving some of my older videos onto this channel from the other channel because they're more tutorials. My Pinterest class is so freaking thorough that I don't know what's on here and what's in there. I tend to do everything in the class though. But basically, you just want to make sure that you put your keywords in, your title and your description on Pinterest. That's all you need to do. Pinterest isn't that difficult, honestly. Finding the right angle is what people get wrong. And please, for the love of God, please don't just go to Etsy and pin from your listings and say, I pinned my listings, because you didn't. That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing but I'm not talking about Pinterest right now. Okay. And you say, where can I find the class? It's listed in the description of this video. I think there's a section that says all my classes are on Teachable, and here's the link. So you can just go there and get that. It's very affordable, and it's so thorough, it'll make your brain explode. And we do weekly lives. So yeah, it's well worth it. Anyway, does anyone have any other SEO questions? It's at 9:30. It's 9:35. And I said I wanted to keep this around a half hour. We just basically on Etsy, you need to remember that Etsy does not require word order match. And I say require. It's good to have it. So do your keyword research. Find good word order matches. Put them in your titles. Okay. Do it. But it doesn't require that. And it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be at the top of the search results. I've seen people say that. I did all my SEO work. I have my good keywords and I'm still not showing up. I'm like, it's because your shop is new. You have no reviews. You have no sales history. You're not sending anybody to your shop, and your pictures are crap. So, there's a lot that goes into it more than just the keyword order. But Etsy doesn't require that. It's a good thing to have it. It's not required to show up at the top of search. So remember that. Remember that there is no one way to do it. There's no one way to do titles and tags. There is one search engine. There are two or three search engine kind of pieces of it that go into the regular organic search. Etsy ads are a different search algorithm. The gift mode is a different search algorithm. And also just keep your fingers crossed, like I said, that they are going to be fixing some of this because it's a mess. It's a mess. Exploding pinheads. Yes. If you have a pinhead, it will be exploding. Yes. Okay. Question. Would the words in your title match your... Okay. And then probably you're going to say tags. You don't need to write your whole title in your tags. Not at all. And I will say that a lot of times people will point to the How Etsy Search Works article in their help section. They haven't updated that for 6 years. I think we all know that Etsy search has changed in that time. Okay. They literally have not updated that. They've just abandoned it. It's there. It sits there by itself. It talks about banana backpacks and it's not updated. So don't believe anything in there. Look to see what's actually happening. And that's all. Okay, question. Should the words in your title match your tags? That's what I'm saying. No, it does not matter. It used to be, like I said, 10 years ago, that they wanted the titles, like your main keyword in your title, to match in your tags, because that told the computer that that was a better match, more relevant for that listing. But it doesn't matter anymore. And if, again, don't believe me, go on Etsy, do a search for something, and then see if the keyword that you searched for, that first organic listing that's coming up, see if that exact word order matches in the title and in the tags, and it won't be. But make it something that's better than, like, beaded bracelet. Yeah, that might be in both because it's such a general term. Have it something that's more specific so that you can really see where Etsy is pulling those words from. And that's looking for long tail keywords on any search engine is a better exercise in learning how a search engine works than just searching for a one or two word phrase, because that's not going to teach you anything. Yeah, that's all. So if no one else has any questions, I can wrap this up and go get some more tea. I'm not properly caffeinated yet. This is me before I'm caffeinated. Oh, one more question. Okay. Sentences on the title may sound clickbait the way I ask questions. I don't know what you're talking about, Sonia. It's on the title. Sentences on the title. Just write your title like a sentence, meaning just put what is it? What are you selling? Okay. For this, these are orange edible butterflies in a small size. They're small. It's upside down. They're small. Okay. So on this specific listing, I think I say 48 mini orange edible butterflies, 1/2 to 3/4 inch, comma, good for birthdays and cupcakes. It's something like that. Okay. It doesn't have to be clickbaity. It doesn't have to be like a florid kind of floofy, fluffy title. Just say what the damn thing is. I think just have this mantra to yourself when you're writing your titles. Say what the damn thing is. Just tell yourself that. Say what it is. You're good. That's it. Fill up the space. Say what it is and fill up the space. Okay. That's all. All right. Question. Do you know how Pattern by Etsy works? No, because I would not use it because it's still Etsy. And if you're going to have a website, go somewhere else. That's all. Because if you want to ever ditch Etsy, then you're still connected to Etsy with Pattern. Pattern is something that Etsy rolled out years ago, and then kind of they're like, it's all right. It's something that we have, but we don't really pay attention to it. Go to a company like do Shopify. It's better for e-commerce. They actually pay attention to the e-commerce part of it. It's not Etsy. You want to keep it off of Etsy if you're doing a website. Okay. Question. For the last 2 months, some of my listings won't show up when I click on them. It'll send me to a page that says, sorry, this item is unavailable in your region. That is something you need to contact Etsy about or have other people look at it. Like other people, have other people in Facebook groups or something look for it, give them the link and have them click on it to see what happens, But if it's something like that, you need to contact Etsy. That's a technical issue that they can fix and no one else can. So here's that. Jane says, I must be like the Energizer Bunny after coffee. I don't drink coffee, which is probably best for most people. I don't know. But I drink a lot of tea and I love my caffeine. I'm still the same. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I don't see any more questions coming in. I hope this was helpful. I hope it kind of clarified things, and I hope that it made you less stressed, because I think people worry way too much about SEO. Get a good keyword. What is the damn thing? All right. Put it together, make your title, then fill in your tags. That's all. Do your keyword research, because you do need to get good words. And sometimes keyword research will show you ideas of things, ways to describe this that you never thought of, right? For example, let's go back to these. Somebody wrote to me and said, can you use these on cake pops? And I was like, I never thought of that, but yes, you can. Can you use these on macarons? Yes, you can. So sometimes I use those in my tags because you can use those, right? And they are keywords that people would be searching for, because if she wrote to me and said, can you use them on cake pops? Then she probably was in Etsy searching for cake pop decorations or something like that. So keyword research is not just to find the exact word order, it's to find other words that you can use that would make sense and to say what the damn thing is. That's all. Say what the damn thing is, do your keyword research. Don't stress about it too much. It's not that hard. Okay. I will talk to you guys later. If you have any questions, if you're watching this later and you have questions, feel free to post them. I'd be glad to answer. And yeah, my keyword lists are in the description if you want to do that. Also, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. This is the channel now that I post tutorials on. And I'm going to be moving some of the tutorials from my other channel over here. But just so that you know, this is the channel where the tutorials go, like SEO stuff. The other channel is now for the longer, like the lives on Tuesday and the podcasts that go up on Thursdays. But this is where the tutorials are. Okay. So, all right. I need to go get some more caffeine. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.